Hi folks, Dr. Bob. I've been taking ALPHA GPC for about 6 years now, and here are the results. So ALPHA GPC is short for alpha glycosylphosphatidylcholine, and so they just call it, ALPHA GPC for short, but it's amazing stuff. It's basically what your body takes and produces. It's a chemical that it produces in the brain. So here we found a way to produce ALPHA GPC, so it goes, your body doesn't need to convert it, doesn't need to produce it, it goes right into the brain. So this is, what your brain needs is two things, fats and acids, and choline is a fat. So people say you should eat a lot of eggs. I know people that are, they're egg eaters, and they never eat meat or fish, and only eggs, and they eat about 10 eggs every single day. So that's a good place for choline, but I think a far more natural way to get it is through ALPHA GPC. There's things like lectins, there's all sorts of different types of choline. Just ALPHA GPC, it's the best of the best. It's the rock star of the choline family. They used to have it in a liquid, and then they refined it, and they finally brought it to a 98% pure ALPHA GPC, which comes in a powder. That's what I take every single day. I've been doing it, as I said, close to about 6 years now. I feel great, and it's helped my brain. You can always guess on these things and say, is this doing anything for me? But you know ALPHA GPC and what it does and how it's going to go to the brain. I mean, I feel fantastic. I really wakes you up. If you want to just take about 400 milligrams of ALPHA GPC, it's going to wake you up just like a cup of coffee. You don't really need caffeine. Caffeine is kind of, I always say, it's a door knock, like you're knocking on the door, kind of wakes you up a little bit as a stimulant, so it's okay. Caffeine doesn't, I don't know if it really has any health benefits, but it's a stimulant, and unless you are doing maybe a couple hundred milligrams at a time, it's not going to overstimulate you. 100 milligrams is what it is in a cup of coffee on average, but I'm not a big caffeine guy. It doesn't really bother me, but I really don't like to take caffeine because it's just a stimulant and not a nutrient. And if you overstimulate yourself, what happens in something like that, you're just going to have a crash. And that's why you get tired after a couple hours. You start drinking too much coffee, you crash, because it's like sugar. You have a crash. It's just a stimulant. So you have a sugar crash after a couple hours. ALPHA GPC goes right into the brain. So all I can say, do I feel something? Well, it does wake me up. Do I feel something in my brain? All I can tell you is I've never been so clear-minded and I would say intelligent or whatever, using my brain to its capacity than I've ever felt in my entire life. I made a video just recently about all the supplements I take in the morning. I feel fantastic. I've really always been a high energy person. I don't really have a story for you to tell that, hey, many years ago I never could wake up and I was always groggy. I mean, the truth is, when I was in my 40s, I'm in my 60s now, I'm not nearly as energetic back then when I was in my 40s. And I wasn't nearly as clear thinking as I am now. I can tell you that for sure. But I also have changed my diet completely. I've mentioned to you many times, I'm a raw foodist. I only eat raw fruits and vegetables. Probably 95% of what I eat is raw fruits and vegetables. I don't start eating till noon, 1 o'clock. Drinking water all through that time, taking these supplements that I take. By the way, I take around 30 supplements, maybe 35 in the morning. And we'll get into, I've talked a lot about supplements. People say, how can I take that many pills? A lot of these are in powder form for me. If they don't have a taste, I just use them. Like ALPHA GPC really doesn't have any taste to it. You don't really even need to take a capsule. You could just put a little bit of powder into water, and just drink it down that way. But it'll really wake you up and it'll feed the brain. You've got to feed this brain, fats and acids. We'll get into the acids some other time. A good example would be like ginkgo. That's ginkgosilic acid. Really good for the brain and causes a lot of circulation throughout the body and in the brain. So you're trying to get blood up to the brain. Another thing I take, of course, is magtine, magnesium L-threonate. Incredible for the brain because that gets in there, crosses the brain-blood barrier, and you need magnesium. Everybody that they have autopsied, monkeys and humans, after they die, they see no magnesium in the brain. People with Alzheimer's, people are really stupid monkeys, and smart monkeys you just see full of magnesium. Even people that they've autopsied after they passed away and they're very smart, very lucid, they have found magnesium in the brain. And there's a lot of studies on that, on magtine. But going back to the ALPHA GPC, you got to feed that brain. So it's one of the best things you can do wake up every single day. I highly recommend it. Alpha GPC. I do take other things, phosphatidylserine. That's a different type of fat. Okay, we'll cover that another time. But Alpha GPC, the rock star of cholines, first thing in the morning. I mean, you can do anywhere 400 to 600 milligrams of that. You can take it throughout the day. I take it right before I go to bed as well. It's not really obviously to wake me up, but I want to get that feeding as I'm sleeping, so when I wake up, I'm ready to go. Constantly feeding the brain. It's so important. So that's Alpha GPC. Been doing it 6 years, and I feel absolutely amazing. Dr. Bob. See you next time, guys.